light, and body. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing your journaling. I hope that you're taking the time to pause, to go within and look within yourself to see exactly what's going on. And today we got a special edition. We're going to talk about sleep apnea. And we have Dr. Chatterjee here. And he's going to help us understand more about sleep because our sleep hygiene these days are very bad. We sit in front of the television pretty late. We may be watching, we want to catch up on some program, and we're not getting enough rest. Our cell phones is distracting us. And this is a very present topic that many people ask me and myself and my sister Joan Williams if we can really bring on someone to really talk about sleep apnea. And what a better person, because he's a specialist and he's going to help us understand how we can really take care of ourselves, take care of our sleep, and help us to also understand all the things about diseases that is related to sleep apnea. So I'm not going to take up further time. I'm just going to hand you right over to Dr. Chatterjee. I am Karen Pascal, holistic health and wellness coach, and a co-author of two ebooks with my sister Joan. Your Gut in You and Self-Care is Intentional, and it's going to be on Amazon very soon. And if you have not subscribed yet to Soul, Light, and Body, this is a chance for you to do it. So go right away, subscribe, that you will never miss none of these juicy episodes. So I will now hand you right over to Dr. Chatterjee. Dr. Chatterjee, welcome to Soul, Light, and Body.
Hello.
Can you tell us where you're from, what you specialize in?
Okay. I'm originally from India. I used to be a missionary with leprosy and did some hand surgery there. And then I came over to this country and I then became a specialist in internal medicine, pulmonary medicine, critical care medicine, and sleep medicine. So I got board certified in all of those. And I have my own practice now and my own sleep lab. And we're here in Patterson, New Jersey.
Wonderful.
Been a long journey.
It's been a long journey, and it's great when we have people like you around that could really help us with our sleep, because it is so essential these days for us to get good rest. And my first question to you: what are the most common sleep disorder? I know that we are into television pretty late in the morning. We could be up on our cell phones pretty late. Could you explain to us what are the common sleep disorders?
Okay, so you have a car and you drive your car and then you take it to the mechanics to repair it. You have to take it back to the shop. You got to get it repaired, tuned up, and ready to go again. So you have your day, and at night you take your body back to the repair shop and you get it tuned up. The problem is that we don't give it enough time to be tuned up. We watch TV, we watch our cell phones, our tablets, and we catch up on our emails, and we just don't sleep the required 7.5 or 8 hours. So you've taken your car, which is your body and your brain, to this repair shop and spent only half the time you should. Then we have so much light, so the quality of the repair is bad.
Mm-hmm.
And now we see more and more that when we take our car to the repair shop, instead of it getting repaired, it's getting banged up and dinged up and hammered because we don't breathe well while we're sleeping, or we have other medical problems. And so our cars really go downhill. And that's why we're seeing an accelerated amount of inflammation in the body. Sleep takes away inflammation. If you don't sleep, your inflammation becomes worse and worse. So sleep is the super Advil or the super Tylenol of the body.
So tell us a little bit about ADHD and poor performance with students and divorce.
Yep. Now for young people and young parents, it's really important that our children do well in school, but our children are not getting good sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Our children are getting sleep disorders. A very common disorder is sleep apnea. And that leads to bedwetting, that leads to ADHD, that leads to poor impulse control. And the children, in addition to this, get a lot of childhood disorders like asthma.
Wow.
So whenever we see children in our schools with asthma, ADHD, we know that this is there's a big component of sleep contributing to it. Like I said, it may not be dinging the car, but it's sure stopping it from being repaired. Okay.
Wow, wow. So what you're saying here is that we have to really pay attention to our children, what you're doing. Like, for instance, sometimes you find that a child may say they're going to bed, and when you really look, they're on their cell phone.
Right.
So we as parents, we have to be the advocate for them at this point in time in their lives to help them to have a better quality life when they get older. Am I correct?
Absolutely, yes. Because we live for our children, especially in a town like Patterson, which has a very high immigrant community. The parents are really working very hard to give the next generation a good life. Um, all of America works very hard. We put hundreds of thousands of dollars into our children's education, and then we blow it up with our children either distracting themselves at night, or we distract the children at night. We put on our televisions very loud, or we are up and about and creating a lot of noise, which stops our children from sleeping.
Yeah.
So we have to be better parents because we want good, bright, active children with a great memory. Poor sleep equals bad memory, bad short-term memory, and bad long-term memory. Uh, you might see there's a handout that we give all our patients out here, Karen.
Yes, I can
And
see that. Yeah.
so the first person who suffers is on the top left, the student. He's undisciplined. He's got a poor academic performance. He's got ADHD. He's lethargic. He falls asleep in class, and he's got a poor short-term memory. Then let's go on to the woman. When you have a sleep disorder, you have a higher tendency to gain weight. When we are in a very deep sleep, which is stage 3, we make the hormones that keep us awake. That make us stronger. We make growth hormone in stage 3. In very deep sleep, when we are dreaming, which is what we call REM sleep, we make our sex hormones. So if you don't get a large amount of sleep, and if you don't get deep sleep, you're not going to get your growth hormone. You're not going to get your sex hormones. So if you don't get your growth hormone, you're going to be obese. You're going to be sloppy. You're going to have no energy. And if you don't have your sex hormones, that leads to being infertile, bad periods, long. So you know how many people nowadays are going to fertility specialists, whereas our parents used to just pop out the children. But you don't see that so long. And a lot of it is because of bad sleep or a sleep disorder. Now, take the sick person. That's the bottom left. The sick person is someone with hypertension, diabetes, depression, arrhythmias, kidney failure, asthma. This is a person who has a sleep disorder contributing to his other problems. He can't fix them. He can't fix his heart disease. He can't fix his hypertension, his blood pressure, his high sugars. A, because he's not healing, and B, because he doesn't have the concentration or the energy to go and fix them. Who's more likely to go for a run in the morning or in the evening? Someone who slept well or someone who's tired? Someone who needs 3 cups of coffee to wake up in the morning, or someone who bounces out of bed ready and fit to go? There's a very high degree of kidney disorders noted with sleep disorders. Okay, the reason we have these kidney disorders is because when we sleep, the blood flow to our kidneys goes up, but we don't make the urine. So maybe the blood flow cleans the
Uh-huh.
kidneys, which are basically filters. But when our sleep is disordered or broken up or fragmented, uh, we start the blood flow to the kidney now starts getting filtered and we start making urine. That's why we see a large number of people who are bedwetters, uh,
Mm-hmm.
have an underlying sleep disorder.
Wow.
Some of our patients who we treat for sleep disorders who have ADHD, their parents tell us the day they use the CPAP machine, they sleep beautifully and
Wow.
they don't wet their beds. And the day they don't use the CPAP
Mm-hmm.
machine
Mm-hmm.
or it comes off at night, you have problems. They bedwet their beds, they're cranky.
Wow.
Sometimes the teachers, kick them out of class or they get sent to poor performance schools.
Wow.
Um, so,
Wow. So it's a whole long laundry list
oh yes.
with sleep apnea. So my question to you now is, we hear so much about sleep apnea. What is sleep apnea?
So, apnea means not breathing. Uh, we put a lot of diseases, sleep diseases, under this broad category. Uh, when you go to sleep, your throat relaxes, and as the muscles in your throat relax, your throat starts closing. If you're fat, the throat has a higher tendency to close. If you have a muscle disorder, if you're sleeping abnormally, you have a sleep, your throat tends to close. Even a small amount of closure starts breaking your sleep and you get mild arousals. And as a result, your oxygen may drop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You get these bursts in your EKG, which are what's called an arousal,
Mm-hmm.
and your sleep breaks. Sleep is like a river or it's like an orchestra. You
Mm-hmm.
start shallow sleep and then you start going down to slight deep sleep. Then you go into stage three, which is very deep sleep, and then you have REM. REM sleep is when you're dreaming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you need the whole orchestra to play. And the orchestra plays the same tune 3 or 4 times a night.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to stage one, stage two, stage three, REM. Then after REM, we go back to stage two, stage three, REM again. And as the night goes on, the REM and the stage three get longer, especially the REM gets really long.
Mm-hmm.
In the morning, you get a high burst of REM and you wake up feeling fantastic. Okay? So if you're snoring, if your throat closes slightly or your nose closes slightly, you get snoring. Snoring, Karen, is not a
Mm-hmm.
sleep disorder. Snoring is just
Okay.
socially obnoxious. It's bad for your partner. But snoring is not really a sleep disorder.
Oh, so it's not. So what is snoring?
Snoring is when your throat is closing. So, as you go deeper into sleep and you're relaxing, or you have a deviated nasal septum, you reach a
Mm-hmm.
certain frequency and then it's like a tuba playing.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's not the problem. The problem is when that progresses from to and then stop. And you stop breathing. You stop breathing for 10 seconds, 15
Wow.
seconds, and your partner is dead scared and she's like giving you the elbow. If you get the elbow at night, you got a bad sleep disorder.
Yeah,
And what
yeah.
happens? Then after the brain gets so worried, the brain breaks the sleep and you go and you take your breath in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay? Now, my
Wow.
belief is that when you take that deep breath in, is when you get the asthma. Those are the people who get, because your saliva, the acid in your stomach, all that goes into your lung.
Wow.
Okay, so snoring is not bad, but it's the stopping breathing or the snow or the slowing of your breathing that's bad. That's why a lot of people say, "I
Wow.
can't have sleep disorder or sleep disorder. I don't snore." Ask my wife; she'll tell you I don't snore. Well, 90% of the time, the wife has been telling him every day that he snores, but he's not
Mm-hmm.
willing to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And Karen, I'm just being polite. I'm a little bit sexist. I'm saying he instead of them or they or whatever.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes.
It affects both sexes. It
Yeah.
tends to affect males more dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
But once you go into it, you find that women are just as bad, but not so dramatic about it.
So the men are more dramatic.
Dramatic, yeah. The men are noisier. They're
Yes.
probably more vivid. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where we do our research, and I've been doing this research for the last 20 years.
Wow, that's a pretty long
I
time.
know, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a long time, Dr.
Yeah.
Chatterjee.
This
Yeah.
is what keeps me going. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
We discovered that nightmares and dreams are related to sleep disorders. So we've been
I
pushing
didn't
that.
know that.
I know, right? Every Freudian in the
Wow.
country right now is waking up and saying, no, no, we're wrong. Well, they can
Wow.
take their cigars, and yes, if you have a sleep disorder, you don't dream. Or if you do sleep deep enough to dream, you get very bad dreams. The most classic dream that we have found is the dream of falling and then bang, you wake up. Okay?
Wow. Wow.
And our proof is that over 20 years, as our machines get better and better, we make them better. We titrate our machines because we can control them from the office. And our patients will only stop when our patients sleep through the night without waking up to pee, and when they get really good dreams. And
Mhm.
the bad dreams are surprising, Karen. You
Yeah.
would think that dreaming about getting a lot of money is a good dream, right?
Of course, it's a
But surprisingly, it's a sleep
it's
apnea
a
dream.
snap. Wow,
And
I didn't know all of this, Dr.
I've, act-
Chatterjee.
I've actually had a
Wow.
couple of patients who play the numbers and they dream of their numbers. Like, I don't want to use my machine because I don't dream of my numbers anymore. I sleep very well. Yes, my hypertension's doing
Yes,
better,
yes,
but
yeah. But I want the numbers
I want my numbers.
to play the lottery.
And here's the sad one. And
Wow.
this is really sad. When you dream of your loved ones who passed away, that's
Mhm.
usually not a good sign. Okay, every one of us, when we dreaming of our parents, we should think that maybe I have an underlying sleep disorder. I use a CPAP machine. If I don't use a CPAP machine, my wife will kick me out of the house because uh, she doesn't even let me get into bed without putting the mask
Yes,
on.
yeah, yeah,
One
yeah,
way she sleeps and I'm dead, and the other way I'm panting and snoring and
yeah.
making life miserable. The dogs run out of the room because they can't stand the snoring.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So you're saying when someone is dreaming about their dead relatives, you're saying that is associated with sleep apnea?
that's what we have found. We might be wrong, but so far it's not 100%.
Okay.
In that not everyone with a sleep disorder dreams of their dead parents, but when they do dream of their dead parents, and we adjust the CPAP machine sufficiently,
Mm-hmm.
it goes away.
Wow,
And you
that's
can actually
interesting.
grade it. Uh, for example, if I fall asleep without my CPAP
Mm-hmm.
machine,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I dream of my dad, sometimes I'm playing with him, and I'm a child, and I'm just talking to
Mm-hmm.
him,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels great. And then sometimes I'm talking to him, and it's slightly eerie. I'm talking about,
Mm-hmm.
hey dad, your funeral was pretty good.
Yeah,
Everyone came
yeah.
out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I'm yelling at my dad, or he's yelling at me, or I'm a
Mm-hmm.
child and he's beating me. So the
Yeah.
grades vary. And the worse the sleep disorder, or the deeper I'm sleeping because I exercised a lot,
Mm-hmm.
um, the worse it gets.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Karen, you're getting a lot of questions. Do you want me to
Yes,
answer some of the
of
questions?
course, go right ahead.
So here's a question. My doctor wants my wife to have an in-home sleep study. I understand you can do these at home. Yes, you can. Very much so, you can. Is it as good as doing a proper sleep study? No. A proper sleep study is done in a sleep lab. And there we monitor a number of factors like your brain waves, your heart, your oxygen, your breathing. So you want to do a proper sleep study if you've got another physiologic disorder, because you can see the interaction. Someone who has a long period of an apnea, that's not breathing, then you want to make sure the heart can tolerate it. You don't get an arrhythmia after that.
Yes, yes.
So, but if your wife has no other medical problems, why not? You just have a little box. You clip it onto your belt, and you have a lead that goes around your stomach that shows how much you're breathing. That's the belt. You have something that goes a little prong in your nose that shows how much you're breathing, and you have a finger probe for oxygen. After COVID, we've all
Okay.
seen these finger probes,
Yes,
right?
I know, right?
So they're not very good, and sometimes if you're not sure of the answer, you
Mm-hmm.
can then tell the insurance company, I want him to go to have a sleep study, a
Mm-hmm.
proper sleep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But today, healthcare is very expensive. You know that, Karen. And,
Of
our
course.
job as physicians
Yeah,
is to
yeah,
make it as cheap as possible
yeah,
without compromising your health.
yeah,
It's the MRI for a headache conundrum. That does every headache need a conundrum? Need an MRI? No.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
every sleep apnea does not need a sleep study.
Mm-hmm.
But look at the blessings, uh, for a very short amount of money, small amount of money, one quarter the cost of a sleep study.
Mm-hmm.
Some people even do it like for $200 cash. They do it.
Wow, wow,
We
okay.
do it for cheaper because we work in Patterson, and I want everyone to be tested. We
Yes,
need to
yes,
test.
just to make sure. Yeah,
Not to make sure they have a
yes,
sleep disorder,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not fair to condemn someone to sleep with a CPAP mask or to
Mm-hmm.
make a inaccurate diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so a clinical diagnosis is not sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you also want to know how bad the disorder is by looking at
Right,
it.
right.
So, someone
Yes.
who has a mild sleep disorder, you might tell them, raise the head end of your bed, use a piece of tape
Mm-hmm.
to close your mouth. And God bless TikTok. You would think that, right? You would think that everyone would say, I'm not going to sleep with tape in my mouth. But
Yes.
apparently, so many of these TikTok influencers have said,
Wow, it
use a piece
worked.
of tape. It works great. Someone can't tolerate a CPAP mask.
Yes.
Here, this is what a CPAP mask looks like.
My next question is coming to that. Isn't it uncomfortable to wear a CPAP mask?
Yes, it is. But
Okay.
I sleep with a CPAP
Mm-hmm.
machine, and most of my staff use CPAP machines. The masks can be small, can be really really small.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a big sucker like this, but you can also.
Okay.
Is there a small mask there, Karen? No, that one on the right, I think. Um, could I have a nasal pillow mask, please?
That's one of there.
Ah, here it is. So this is what it usually looks like. You have a tube, right? The tube goes to a mask. You put the mask on like a cap here, and this goes into your nose, and the hose comes out. Okay, and
Wow. This is more modern.
even if you're a mouth breather, the air once it goes through your nose will keep your throat open. The function of this mask is to pump air through it, and the air keeps your throat open.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you have a sleep disorder and you're choking, right? If I choke you like this, you don't try and breathe through your mouth, right? You open your mouth and you breathe. And that's why most people become mouth breathers. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a mask of this, especially if you use a piece of tape to keep your mouth closed, you find it very easy to breathe through your nose. Everyone says, I can't imagine myself doing that, and it's not sexy to do it. And I tell them, just put on for 10 minutes. You'll be so deeply asleep,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you wake up the next morning. And people who say they're not sexy, seriously, it's not sexy to snore, to choke, to kick your partner, to drool. No matter how pretty you are, that is definitely not
Yeah,
sexy.
yeah, yeah,
Okay?
yeah, yeah.
And you know, the category that I didn't show you on that handout I give is the category called the bad husband. Okay,
The
now
bad husband.
it's really the bad spouse because I'm an old-fashioned sexist. We'll say the bad husband. But who's the bad husband? The bad husband is the person who's tired, who has a very poor short-term memory, who forgets to go to the grocery store, forgets to fix the car, forgets to pay the taxes. Okay, he's always tired. He's so tired and he can't sleep. So what does he do? He drinks a lot. Okay, a lot. I'm also deal a lot with addiction, and most of my addiction patients have sleep disorders because everyone drinks to just basically get blotto and go to sleep.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
a husband who's snoring, has a bad memory, forgets your anniversary, has a foul temper, who's either smoking or drinking coffee to stay awake with a foul breath. That's the person who gets divorced, and that's usually the person with the underlying
Yes.
sleep disorder.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah. Wow.
and then when you're not making your growth hormone, you're becoming fat. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have energy, you become fat, and
Yeah.
I think that in every relationship, both both parties owe it to their partners to look good,
Yeah,
to be
yeah, yeah.
healthy.
So true. That is so
You
true.
know, so my father was a naval person, and naval officer, and his advice to me when I got married was, please do your push-ups every morning because no woman, that wife of yours, didn't marry you to drag your fat backside into bed every night.
That's a good one.
So
Wow, wow. What are the other diseases that we associate with sleep apnea?
we touched on it. You know, we say medicines and we grade our doctors by the medicines they give us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but every medication is a poison with only one good side effect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Blood pressure medicines, they're toxic.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're hypertensive and you need more than one blood pressure medicine,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to figure out that there's something else that's making your blood pressure untreatable.
Spiking it. Yeah,
So when
yeah.
you get patients, our patients are on three high blood pressure medicines. Okay, very commonly people with sleep apnea, they have low oxygens at night, and when you have a low oxygen, your legs get swollen. Okay,
Wow.
your blood pressure in your lung rises, the blood backs up into your liver and into your legs.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you get what is called a fatty liver and you get swollen legs or what is called pedal edema. Okay?
Wow.
And
Wow.
diabetes. You see, what happens is one, you can't control your diet when you're tired.
Mm-hmm.
Two, the stress of not breathing all night, it raises your adrenaline levels and that raises your sugar levels. So a simple thing is, as a diabetic, when I haven't eaten for 8 hours and I wake up in the morning with a high sugar, or if I take my medications and my sugar is still rising and I'm good with my diet, you got to figure that the healing mechanisms are not working,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Mm-hmm.
what sleep disorder is. And then the most common disorder today is can't keep my mouth shut and eat junk disorder called obesity.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
so
Wow.
when you are obese, okay, you got to figure out maybe my metabolism is slow because of my sleep disorder, or because I cannot focus.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you're tired, your body makes you eat,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and it pushes you to eat, especially at night when people are going to sleep. Their subconscious brain, which has been tired and has been basically hammered all night long since your childhood, it drives you to eat at night. So
Mm-hmm.
in our practice, we have a simple saying: If your fridge develops a backside at night because someone's head is in this refrigerator looking for something to eat, chances are there's someone with a sleep disorder in the house.
Wow. Oh my goodness. You've given us so much information here, Dr. Chatterjee. I hope the listeners that you're taking notes, because this will really help you to understand your body when things start to happen. You can really zoom in and understand, what I wonder if this is because of I'm not resting enough, and to clean up your sleep hygiene. So make sure that if you're now joining us, watch this replay, because there's a lot of information that is being given here this afternoon to help you, the viewers, to clean up your sleep hygiene. My next question to you is, how do we diagnose sleep disorder? There are overnight, I guess we cover this, right?
Right.
Overnight
Yeah.
and the overnight kit. And are there different types of sleep apnea?
There are different kinds of sleep apnea.
Mhm.
There are different kinds of sleep disorders. I don't
Mhm.
want you to think that everything is just joking when you're asleep. Okay,
Mhm.
there are the social problems, and there are the common ones like narcolepsy. ADHD is very common, and our sleep organization chooses to say that's our sleep disorder, and we'd rather give someone a CPAP than get him stoned on amphetamines and addicted to amphetamines. 30 years
Mhm.
ago, we'd have died if you would have said, "Oh, we give kids amphetamines regularly
Yes.
because it keeps them organized, it keeps them safe." Uh, Quite often, I like to take children off amphetamines. I like to take children off diabetic medications. I like to take them off blood pressure medicines. And I think the sign of a good doctor is someone who takes you away from all these poisons, not into all these poisons.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Um,
Listening to you hear what you just said, that you are an advocate of taking medications away. So therefore you are helping the person to get better, for their body to function on its own,
right.
than to give them the medication,
Right.
you know.
Yes.
And that's a beautiful thing, Dr. Chatterjee.
God gave us our repair shops, and we've lost our repair shops, and it's time to give back the repair shop rather than get the car tuned rather than getting the car repaired.
Wow,
Okay.
this makes so much of sense, because many times you find that you have a child, and this child is on so much of medications, and here you are saying that once you start to do certain things, you can change that cycle.
Of course, you get to give it the future back.
Wow, that's
You know,
that's
getting your health
amazing.
back. Uh, I
That's
think,
truly
yeah,
amazing.
I think we really, if you want to know if someone has a sleep disorder, Karen, a simple question: do you wake up to pee at night, even once? Everyone says everyone does, and the answer is yes. That's how common sleep disorders are. Okay.
Wow,
So if you wake
wow.
up to pee at night, if you're not dreaming or if you're getting bad dreams, chances are you have a sleep disorder, and you'll do very well by treating the sleep disorder. And just slapping a CPAP mask on someone, giving them an auto CPAP machine is never good enough. You have got to adjust it. Okay?
Mhm.
Karen, I told you that I started my life as a missionary with leprosy,
Yeah, you
right?
told me. Yes,
I
yes. Can you touch a little bit on that for us, leprosy?
My hero in life was Mother Teresa. I was
Wow.
very lucky to know her. She didn't know me, I mean, but I was lucky to touch her. And
Wow.
when I graduated, I asked her what I should do. I said, I just want to spend a few years helping people. And she said, I don't want you with your medical degree. She says, what we do is we put bandages and we feed poor people. God gave you a medical degree. Work with it. Go look after tuberculosis, look after leprosy. So I did that. I looked after leprosy for 2 years. And,
Wow.
it was a very nice experience. I like to carry
Wow.
that on. Uh, Karen will give you my contacts. We're very happy to offer you
Wow.
an opinion. Obviously, I can't do a consultation for everyone, but I can offer you an opinion. She'll give
Beautiful.
you my email. You can email us, and if I don't, my staff will get back to you. Uh, we're currently working on a very cheap sleep machine at the university at the Rochester Institute of Technology. I believe that CPAP machines can be very cheap. They don't have to be so expensive.
Mhm.
It's open source. Every, everything will be available. And
Beautiful.
the idea is basically a CPAP machine is a pump with a little memory, with a little chip,
Mhm. Wow.
and a sensor to measure your breathing. And our idea is to make that as cheap as possible with the same software so that a farmer in Africa can
Yeah.
make his own CPAP machine and is not dependent on the thousands of dollars which they charge out here.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, for a CPAP. You know,
So,
listening to you, Dr. Chatterjee, I must thank you for being of such a service to humanity.
you're
You
so
know,
sweet.
and because myself and my sister, every day when we wake up, we normally ask the divine. We would really like to be of service and show us the way how we can be of service to humanity. That is why we
You're
created this
doing this. You're
program,
doing
Soul,
it.
Light,
And
and
kudos
Body.
to you, Ken.
That we could bring people on to educate people and to help themselves. Because a lot of people are there, they're telling themselves there is no help, there is no hope. But when people like you, Dr. Chatterjee, could come and let us understand that there is hope. There is hope out there because you're saying that you're in an organization that is going to bring CPAP machines for a very cheap and low cost
Yes, yes, we
that
should.
can help someone out there who don't really have the big set of money to
Yes,
purchase a CPAP
yes.
machine. You are involved in that. So that is so great to know that in another 2 years or 3 years, it could become affordable for somebody, actually said somebody in Africa or somebody in India. It could be affordable for them to purchase.
Yeah, you can just buy the kit and put it together. That's the idea.
Wow.
I
Thank you
mean,
so much for doing that. Wow. Oh my God.
well, take
Any
care.
last words you would like to leave with our audience?
Well, I was wondering, my daughters are getting married, and I'm getting up there in age, and I always wonder what is it that we've learned in life. And I'll tell you, I'm very lucky. I learned that there is love.
Yes.
I mean, if we can remember in every interaction to leave a little bit of love behind us,
Absolutely.
rather than finding shoot someone, hurt someone, get this
Yes.
person out, do this.
Yes.
I think we can, if we can look after people, and I think we can bring a little love into every interaction. uh, I'm lucky. I'm a physician. I can love
Yes.
my patients, they can love me back. It's very
Yes.
easy.
Yes.
But
Yes.
no matter what you do, if you can leave a little love, I think life gets better.
Wow. I love that. I really, really love that. Everywhere we go, we should leave that sprinkle dust of love. Every person that we meet, we should leave them better than how we meet them.
Yeah.
We should really help them to understand, what? Whatever you're going through, if you have love in your heart, that could conquer anything that is happening in your
Sprinkle a
life.
little sugar.
Sprinkle the sugar. Sprinkle that love, sugar everywhere you go. So, Dr. Chatterjee, we would just want to thank you so much for. I know
Karen,
you got a busy schedule.
Karen, I think you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you so
There's
much,
so
Dr.
much more to
Chatterjee.
medicine. There's so much
Thank
more
you.
to healing than just making pharmacy companies rich. Okay?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
God bless you.
God bless you too for what you're doing because you're helping so many people, and you're helping people to get better. And you're helping even the children now to have a brighter future,
That's very
which is
important, isn't it?
very
Yeah.
important. So you're helping them to understand, what a parent looking at a child going through ADHD or they're suffering from any sleep disorder, you're helping a child to have a brighter future by working with that child, working with that parent to wheel them off from these medications and to help them to live a sustainable life without medications. Thank you so much for doing that.
Take care.
To the audience, thank you so much for joining us for this special edition.
Bye, everyone.
And it's a pleasure for us to come today and to talk about sleep apnea. This is not going to be our last interview. I'm just letting you know that. And we're going to be able to continue to bring you more important topics to help you to understand more about yourself, what's happening to you, how you can help yourself as you move through life. In the comments, we're going to put Dr. Chatterjee's information so you can reach out to him, or you can reach out to myself or Joan, and we're going to be able to connect you with Dr. Chatterjee. If you have any questions you want to ask him pertaining to sleep apnea, he will be able to answer those questions for you. So thank you so much once again for your beautiful comments, your beautiful questions. If you have not answered it, reach out to us. We're going to connect you with him, and you're going to be able to answer your questions. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.